Welcome to Hip Hop Now Podcast. If you're from the future, you know what to do. Get your ass out of here. Don't disrespect the legend. Hip hop is here to stay. Let's get right into the business. What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and this is Hip Hop Now Podcast, a podcast specifically designed to keep you caught up on all things hip hop, music, and culture that happen throughout the week. This is a bonus episode. I've done top 5 hip hop albums of all time. I've even done top 5 MCs of all time. If you're listening via audio on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, check those out also. If you're watching here on YouTube, not only can you check those out here on the Hip Hop Now Podcast channel, but subscribe as we are headed towards 500 subscribers. Appreciate you. But today, we doing top 5 hip hop beats all time. Now, like what I did with my last top 5s, this is probably more so not only just favorites of mine, but definitive for me, right? And maybe some of these are yours also. Maybe 1 or 2 are in your top 5. It's tough to do these lists. It's even tougher to do it when it's only 5. There are millions of beats. I could sit here all day and talk about some of the greatest beats of all time. Like, I love the Benjamins beat. I love it. And it's no smoke and mirrors like, yo, so he took the sample and put it over and he hit the, no. It's just a groove that works, that affects me as a human being when I hear it. Love it. New York State of Mind. Every time I hear that, I just want to go buy a fresh pair of Timbs, black hoodie, get some overly baggy fatigues, walk like I'm bow-legged around. I live in the suburbs now, y'all, so it ain't like it's a block. But just walk around like I got the ratchet on me. I want snow to fall from the sky even though it's summer. Because it's hoodie season when I hear New York State of Mind. You feel me? So it's like beats that connect with you in ways that sometimes, like, here's an example, y'all. And this goes for any genre. But have you ever heard a song where the beat was so good you weren't really even listening to the lyrics yet? When you went back, you kind of had to catch it, but it's like an overload of your senses when you hear the beat. Like, some people know sometimes when you hear a crazy beat in hip hop, you're like, somebody could be talking like, yo, they shooting, and you're like, what? Right? Like, wake me up out of my trance. It's beats that do that for you. In some ways, beats for me that when I heard it, I had to think to myself, how did he make that? These are my top 5 beats of all time. Let's start right at the top. RZA with Cream. Cash Rules Everything Around Me. Dog, when I heard that beat, I was like, this beat is impossible. I know producers like, nah, all he did was take that. I don't care. Okay? When I heard it, I was like, yo, I don't understand this lazy piano. It just was so, like, see, I'm getting caught up now. I can't even explain it. Right? Use your education, Vegas. That's all. But it was one of those things when I first heard it, it was unexplainable. It was like, yo, that beat is crazy and I don't even know why it's that good. Like, what sample is that? Is he playing the piano? What made him come up with this? This is not traditionally a hip hop sound, but it is. It was like grunge for hip hop. It was just dirty. That's what we look. Cash rules everything around me. Crib, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side. Staying alive was no job. Had second hand. Mom's bounced from old man. And then we moved to foreign land. A young youth. You rocking the go-to. Low boots. Telling you, man, it was just a feeling. And to me, that's why it's one of the greatest hip hop records of all time. Because guess what happens? That record was released in what, 93? That very same feeling comes over me. Pause. Sorry. When I hear it today, okay? It just does. It's that infectious, it's that impactful, and I think hands down, it gotta be for a hip hop fan who likes it all, not just one region versus another region or region, or I only like a certain group or whatever. You just gotta recognize it as for what it is. And RZA has so many that I can go to, but I have to stick to one. Let me just mention other ones like Triumph and Liquid Source. Like beats I was just like, yo, RZA is crazy. So Cream is definitely one of the greatest beats of all time. I don't care what you have to say. Next up, DJ Premier, Master P. DJ Premier, I can go down the whole Group Home album is a top 5 beats of all time. Okay, Gangstar alone has a number of songs that he's produced that can be greatest beats of all time. Beats he produced for others, like Premier is just that crazy. But Mass Appeal is one of those records that does the same thing that I said about Cream. It's just, especially when I saw the video and Guru had the snorkel on with the fur and it was snow and it was dark. Suckers be like playing themselves that had Mass Appeal and the scratching of the youngsters' vocals in there, and it was called Mass Appeal. Like this is what, when you see old heads getting excited about 90s hip hop or getting mad about y'all not understanding potency of the music back then versus now, this is kind of what they're talking about. And to be fair, there were generations who would do the same thing with us, right? You know what I'm saying? You hear what Marvin Gaye doing right there? Like, yes, we do. It's hip hop time though. It's the same feeling. It's a beat that's so infectious, a song that speaks to you so deeply to the point where you just gotta hit rewind because you just want to hear it again. Mass Appeal just evokes that kind of emotion. Like I always joke around and tell people, if you want to see me get because I like a lot of new music and I bump new music now more than I do some of the old school stuff. I go back to it. But if you want to see me get in my 90s bag, or you want to see my actual age besides my gray hairs, let Mass Appeal come. If you want to see what region I'm from, watch the dance I do when that come on. You be like, oh yeah, he old head from the OG from the 90s. Yeah, when Mass Appeal's on, that's just where I go with it. All right. Next, Elevators by Outkast. I did not know Outkast could make this kind of record, let alone make the beat. I was convinced. I was like, it's organized noise, right? Like, no. Outkast, Andre Benjamin, and Big Boy. They did it. When I heard that beat, I was like, yo, this beat is like dark, sinister, but smooth. Like, I want to say thoughtful or cerebral, I should say. It's just one of those records where you have to pay attention to the lyrics because of the groove. The groove is you're so much into the groove where you just sort of like, man, this joint is just crazy. Like I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think about this record. When I first heard it, I was like, this is the same Outkast from Southern Playlisted? And the way they were spitting on that record, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't get, like, everybody give Andre 3000 props because it's kind of the thing to do. But the way Andre and Big Boy, their flows, like, you can't nail the pattern down. They just flowing. Like, to me, it's not just the beat, but the beat set the tone for what the lyrics were on all of these albums. I mean, on these records. And Elevate is just a record that every time it's on, like I can't help it. I gotta listen to it. I gotta hear it because it's just that crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? It just is. So there you have it. Next up, Quiet Storm by Havoc. Now I know, again, unfortunately, because these things just happen in everything, not just hip hop or sports or whatever. Sometimes there's just a consensus that Illmatic is the greatest hip hop album of all time. And it feels like there's no discussion or debate. And it's like, well, no, this one is better, whatever. Some people don't believe that. It's just, that's what we say. Andre 3000 is the best, and he's the best out the group by default. I feel like people do that with Shook Ones. When I first heard Shook Ones, I thought it was dope. But what brought it home for me was what Prodigy was doing. To all the killers and the $100 billers, to real who ain't got no feelings. It's like that whole build into the beat. I love the beat, but Quiet Storm was different. And I heard the original Quiet Storm that was just Prodigy on it, on a mixtape. And I couldn't believe, even though some producers would say, oh, you didn't do nothing crazy, but I had never heard anybody use white lines in that way. Like the record White Lines is a dope record, a dope beat in itself. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. But Havoc turned it into this dark, Havoc and P, right? Havoc with the beat, but Prodigy turned it into like this dark journal. Like in a lot of ways, Havoc's beats, along with Prodigy's music, it almost felt like they made horrorcore. You know what I'm saying? Because it was always like this real dark chords and keys and stuff like that. And that record starts out with some rain, Prodigy talking, and then when that beat hits, I put my lifetime in between the paper's lines. I'm that Quiet Storm who fight Rhyme P. Yeah, you heard of them. But I ain't concerned with them. I pop more guns than you hold in them. I put my lifetime in between the paper's lines. And that beat, they had to make a remix and make it a single, and then Lil' Kim killed it. That beat, along with like Godfather Part 3 and a number of Havoc beats, but that one specifically, it just does something to me where I'm just like, yo, when I first heard this, man, this is just one of the beats I just could not shake. I just needed to hear it again and over again. It evokes a feeling from me, especially now. Sure, it's nostalgic, but it's identical to when I first heard it. It's not, oh, I remember that and I was doing. No, it's just that beat was just so crazy. That the anticipation for Prodigy's solo album was crazy when we knew that was going to be the lead single. It was like Havoc in his bag. Havoc making better beats than he did before. This is crazy. So, and my last beat is, and this was tough to narrow it down because I swear this man has just made so many. But the first time I heard Nothing But a G Thing, and in the Chronic album alone, songs like Let Me Ride, Stranded on Death Row, like those beats are crazy. But when I first heard Nothing But a G Thing, you couldn't tell me I wasn't from Cali. I was in the video. I was just vibing with the entire thing. But it was a Dre that I had never heard before, right? Production wise, like we were so used to what he did with DLC, NWA. We were used to that vibe. And this G-Funk era, shout out to Warren G, but this G-Funk sound was like, it was so West Coast, but it was so unique to Dr. Dre and what they were creating. And you have all these new artists like Snoop and Rage and Corrupt, Daz, RBX. Shout out to Dog Pound. Their new album is dope, man. I've been listening to it all weekend. But Nothing But a G thing. Some might not even say that's Dre's greatest beats, but I think it's one of the greatest beats of all time because it was popular. It was like pop popular. See, sometimes if something's grimy enough, we don't think it's popular with everybody. Just be like, yeah. But when they go platinum like that, that means people who have never been around anything they've seen in the video, can't relate to anything being said in the song. It means they also like it. Like Annie Up from from MOP. When that song became so huge, I'm like, I don't know if, even though they're saying it, I don't know if people know that they're talking about robbing people in this joint. But the beat, the energy was so infectious. It didn't matter where you were from, who you were, or whatever. You just dug it. And I think with the Dr. Dre's The Chronic album and Nothing But a G thing specifically, it wasn't a regional thing. It represented the West Coast. But in New York, we were rocking with it. That's why every time I see the Source Awards thing where Snoop is like, y'all don't love us, I'm like, I don't know what crowd that is, but where I'm around and where I'm from, and some people cheered at the Source Awards when he said that, because we rocked with it. And that record, even to this day, I put it on. I just like, yo, I need to get me a low rider, so I could just, But that's what making great music is all about. It's all about bringing you in, even if you can't relate directly, indirectly, you vibe with it, you understand it. There's some people who've never visited New York in their lifetime, and they know everything about New York through hip hop, right? Specifically because they're hip hop heads, and that's what's dope about making lists like this. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 beats of all time. What are yours? Leave them in the comment section below. We could talk about it. We could chop it up. Also, 500 subscribers. We trying to get there. We almost halfway there. So if you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button, subscribe, stay locked into weekly hip hop content. You can follow me on social media, any of the apps at Vegas World INC. And please know that it's more important that you also share it with people, hip hop heads, or people curious about hip hop that because that's the way we spread this around and the channel grows and I can produce more content like this. I'm going to probably do more lists. So let me know what type of lists you want to see, because I have a few in mind, but it'd be dope to hear what you have to say. Like I'm going to do a little bit later. So until next time, y'all, I'm not a critic, I'm a fan. Peace.